Good morning, or well, I guess it's good afternoon. Sorry, it's been a bit of a busy morning for me. I'm Dr. Jennifer Mellick, and I work at Pediatric Partners. I just wanted to take a quick minute to update everybody on how I am feeling and how others I know are feeling after we've gotten our COVID vaccines. I know that there's been a lot of questions. I've had patients ask me how I'm feeling. So I just kind of wanted to let people know a little bit about how things are going. So I and my partners got our COVID vaccines 2 days ago, Wednesday evening, and since then I have felt pretty good. Immediately after, I felt like I got a shot, basically, and I think that that's pretty much how everybody else felt. There was honestly a little bit of giddiness and excitement just because we have, as healthcare providers, been waiting for this for so long. It was wonderful to be able to get this vaccination. So the next day, people were asking me how I felt, so yesterday, and honestly, I felt better yesterday than I felt the day before. Do I think that has anything to do with the vaccination itself? No, probably not. It just had to do with the fact that I feel like a little bit of a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. Today, I feel good. Yesterday, my arm right here was a little bit sore in the deltoid area. I was lucky. I did not have any muscle aches or fever or fatigue. As I said yesterday, I felt really good. Today, I feel really good. My arm is less sore. I've talked to both, well, actually all of my partners, Dr. Stuppy, Dr. Ratliff, and Dr. Carter, and they are all feeling very good too. I think Dr. Stuppy said she was a little bit tired. A couple of the nurses that I've talked to at hospitals today when I was rounding said that they had had some fatigue, but really mostly the response to those that I know in person and who I know personally has been very good. I know that there's a couple people on here that are watching, and if any of you want to ask any questions, I think I have this set up so that you can, and I'm happy to try to answer those. But I know I've been getting a lot of questions from my patients and from parents about whether or not we feel like the vaccine is safe and if it's been rushed and how effective is it going to be. By no means am I an immunologist or an epidemiologist, but I am a pediatrician and we deal in vaccines. It's the bread and butter of what we do. We know vaccination. So this particular vaccine has been very cool, and it's different than some of the other vaccines, well, most of the other vaccines that are out there. This particular vaccine does not actually contain any virus itself. It contains a small bit of what's called messenger RNA. And so this is sort of like computer code a little bit, and you plug it in, and then your body, your cells look at it and say, it's like a blueprint. It says, let's build this. And so it builds it, and it's to the spike protein, which is on the outside of the coronavirus. Well, then your body looks at it and says, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be here. So several of your immune cells will say, intruder, intruder, intruder. And then the other immune cells, your B cells, will make antibodies against it such that it can neutralize that particular part of the spike protein if it ever sees it again. So if I'm to come into contact with a coronavirus that's trying to get into my body and use that spike protein to get into there, my body's going to have sharpshooters, is what I like to think of them as, because your antibodies, your IgG antibodies, are very targeted, stealthy, black ops kind of fighters that go in and it says, nope, you're not getting in here, kaboom, you're gone, bye-bye. So that's really what's going to happen. And the nice thing is that IgG is a memory, so it should hopefully stick around for a while. As to the efficacy of this particular vaccine, Well, the research so far, and there has been quite a few numbers of people vaccinated, has been really good, right? I mean, 95%, that's fairly unheard of for vaccination, which is great. It is going to take 2 doses, at least as far as we know right now. So I will get a second dose here in a couple of weeks, between 17 and 21 days after the first. And then how long this is going to last, the immunity, we don't really know. In general, you can get a coronavirus, others, not COVID, but before that, you could get a coronavirus and then you can get it again in your lifetime. I've read some studies that suggest that the immunity from those vaccine or those virus infections is about maybe 24 to 30 months. So I don't know that this one will be that long. We'll have to wait and see. But the nice thing is that we're going to have a lot more data. So efficacy, yes, I think it's great. As to whether it was rushed and the safety of this particular vaccination, so again, this is an mRNA. We actually are not having to grow this vaccine. We basically just isolated a protein, and we, as in the collective incredibly smart we, not me, I had nothing to do with it, but we, the incredibly collective smart scientists that have worked on this, isolated that particular protein, and we're using our bodies to produce that spike protein. So we're not having to grow this in culture, which is what a huge part of vaccine development is. That and funding is an issue usually. And getting enough people to have been infected once they've been vaccinated or exposed once they've been vaccinated is often another thing that takes a long time. Well, because most vaccine preventable diseases are fairly rare. Well, coronavirus, COVID, is not rare. So we've had lots of people who've been exposed after they were in the study and received their vaccine or their placebo. So that sped things up quite a bit. So shortcuts were not taken with safety. They did get to skip the line, meaning, you have vaccine development, and let's say you have vaccine A that's been waiting in line and B is waiting in line, and the FDA and the scientists have to do all the studies. Well, yeah, coronavirus got to cut the line and it got to go to the front. So it got looked at first because it was killing millions of people. So anyway, so safety-wise, I did not have any concerns. I have no concerns about myself getting it, my family members getting it, my daughters getting it. So my daughters are older. My kids are teens and above. 2 of them will be eligible because they work in healthcare already, and so hopefully they'll be up there quickly. The other 2 will most likely have to wait. In terms of kids getting it, I suspect that it will be safe and effective. The question is, when will we have enough vaccine, and when will we have been able to do some studies to recommend that? But when people are asking me and my partners right now, what are we recommending in terms of kids? Well, I would say, if you asked me right now, I would say I recommend it, but I don't have enough data, and how I will feel in 2021, which is only a couple of days away, I don't know. We'll have more data. And I think that is hard for people. I did have somebody on this, one of my patients, hi, Dominique, who asked about long-term effects of the vaccination. We don't know, but at this point in time, the way this particular vaccine is interacting with our immune system, I wouldn't anticipate there's going to be a lot of long-term effects, if any. That being said, we do know that there is potential significant, serious long-term effects to the disease itself. So risk, benefit. I tell this to my patients all the time. There is nothing in life that is without risk. Love is not without risk. Driving in a car is not without risk. Vaccinating is not without risk. And we never say vaccines are 100% safe. But vaccines are given because the benefit outweighs the potential risk. So anyway, I feel good about it. I'm really excited. I can't even begin to tell you how much this has impacted me. I mean, I seriously tear up almost when I talk about this This pandemic has been exhausting. It has just been exhausting because I don't feel like I have personally been able to help as many people as I have wanted to, because this is just overwhelming, and it feels like we're going to get it under control again and be able to get back to hopefully some more normalcy where I see people's faces and I don't have to worry if one of my patients wants to give me a hug. These are the things that are great about being a pediatrician, is that little kids, they sometimes want to give me a hug or sit in my lap when they're little, and usually they want to sit in my lap so they can type on my computer. It's not like I think they all love me, but anyway, I'm looking forward to that again. I'm looking forward to traveling, and I'm looking forward to seeing my extended family whom I miss. So if any of you all are watching, I'm close to being vaccinated and not feeling like I'm going to bring illness home to you. So if anybody has any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll try to answer them. But just know that right now, the doctors, the nurse practitioners, our nurses, we want this vaccine. So we feel safe about getting it for ourselves, and we would recommend it to our patients who are considering getting it. And if there's any specific questions from patients, we're happy to answer those. But have a great Friday. Happy holidays. And we're here for you as always.